Rita, welcome back to my booktube channel, Life Worth Reading. Today we're doing the third round of Tarot Picks My TBR, which is for March 2021. I want to thank, first of all of you that watched the February one, because the first one that I did back in January didn't really get a lot of traction, but the second one really took off in terms of, the scale of my channel. So I really want to thank you all for watching and for liking and supporting that video. And so I am here with another one. So let's talk about March's TBR. I don't usually do like overly ambitious TBRs for the month because I know that I don't read a lot compared to what other people read in a month, but I am doing the most in March, honestly. I am doing the most ambitious TBR for me. So I'm doing 5 card picks as always from this game, but I'm also participating in the War Games Readathon hosted by Erin from Booked and Busy, Nicole from Nicole Reads, and Alana from The Awkward Book Nerd. And it is so exciting. I have never participated in a readathon, not even as a viewer of BookTube. I don't know why, it just kind of stresses me out, but this is a month-long readathon, so I think it'll be quite manageable for me. And it also has 5 prompts in each path that you choose. Please do see their announcements. I'm going to link all 3 of them down below. And let me know if you're participating, because that would be a lot of fun. So I'm going to have a separate TBR video for that readathon. So for now, we're only doing the Tarot Picks My TBR one. If you still haven't seen one of these Tarot Picks My TBR games, I divide my deck into the Minor Arcana and the Major Arcana, and I pick 2 cards from the Major Arcana pile and 3 cards from the Minor Arcana pile. And to see what each card means and all of its prompts, you can check the description down below, because I have a Google Docs that I created last month with all of the prompts, so you don't have to try to figure out which ones they are. And so let's get started. As always, you know that I'll be using the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck by Grace Duong. It is my favorite deck that I own at the moment, and it is just so beautiful. The link will also be down below for you to check it out. And let's just get started. I have my Major Arcana pile here, and I'm just gonna mix them, and I'm gonna try not to do the bitch face that I did last time, because I have a resting bitch face, especially when I'm focused. So I'm really gonna try my hardest to not do that here, but yeah. I'm a little bit out of practice, do excuse me. Okay, it's all good, so let's try mixing them again. So let me know how you're doing. Have you been drinking enough water lately? Let's chat, let's chat. Okay, so I have all of my cards here, and I'm just gonna fill one of these out. Why not this one? I mean, let's just see where this goes. This is the Moon. For the Moon card, the prompt is to read what I think is an underhyped, underrated book. So I'm gonna think a little bit about that, and I'm gonna come back with an answer. But yeah, for the Moon card, which is to read an underrated, underhyped book, obviously this is just my opinion. Like, don't come for me. This is just like a fun prompt. I'm gonna pick Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. I have heard about this book, obviously, but it is not talked about a lot. And I know that Books with Chloe really, really love this book. And I've seen a few other people talking about it, but it still feels pretty underrated in my opinion. And I got it recently in my secondhand book haul. And so I want to get to it. And the more books that I read off of my physical TBR, the better. And so I think that for this card, I'm gonna pick Starfish. I always take the card out of the Major Arcana pile because there are so little cards that I don't want to repeat the prompt, because that would be so boring. So I always take it out, but not from the Minor Arcana. So I'm just mixing this again. And let's do this again. Why not this one? And the second Major Arcana card is the Hanged Woman. So the Hanged Woman is actually a really interesting prompt. So the prompt is to read the lowest rated book on my TBR. So I'm gonna check my Goodreads, like my want to read TBR, and I'm gonna manage it by rating, and I'm gonna see which one is the lowest rated on my TBR right now. I'm gonna check Goodreads, but not on my phone because my phone is recording this because I don't have a camera. So I'm gonna pick up my iPad and I'll let you know which one is the lowest rated book on my TBR on Goodreads. So here I'm on my Goodreads. You probably can't see that, but I'm gonna do it by average rating and let's see which one is the worst one. So my lowest rated book on my TBR is Milkman by Anna Burns. Oh, wait, hold up. The iPad is doing the lighting. Wait, I'm gonna take this up. Which I have because I bought this book secondhand in my latest secondhand book haul. And it is not very exciting that this is the lowest rated book on my TBR. But what is actually exciting is that I was already planning to read this book in March for a secret TBR video that I'm doing. And so it really does match. So that's kind of fun. And this book has a 3.56 rating on Goodreads. And I can't say that I'm like totally excited about this one because the synopsis is so vague and I've heard such mixed things about it. And obviously the rating, not that great. But you know what, is a book that I already own, so at least I'll get at least one of them off my physical TBR. And yeah, so for the Hanged Woman, read the lowest rated book on my TBR, it is Milkman by Anna Burns. So the major Arcana prompt have been chosen, and now we are moving on to the minor Arcana cards. So this I need to mix a lot better because there are a lot of cards. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm probably gonna speed up this video because nobody wants to watch me do this, so. So I'm just gonna pick one of these out. I'm kind of feeling this one. So this one is the King of Wands. As always, I also apologize because there's literally construction noises in every single video that I make. So I'm sorry about that again, but yeah. Honestly, the King of Wands, let's talk about it. This is not a card that I wanted to get. This is not a card I wanted to get because this means reading a book that intimidates me. And what kind of books intimidate me? Really freaking long ones. So I'm already stretching myself way too thin in March. So reading a book that intimidates me in the middle of all that is not what I wanted. But we have to do what the cards say. So a book that intimidates me, I'll let you know which one it is. I think that I'm gonna pick The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang because even though that I'm really looking forward to reading this book and it's been on my TBR for a long time, it has been there for a reason, and that reason is I'm really intimidated by it. I can't explain why. It is not like about the page number or anything, but I can't explain it, but it just intimidates me. Like this whole trilogy really intimidates me, but everybody seems to love it. And so I'm gonna do my best and I'm gonna read The Poppy War in March. And I am intimidated just thinking about it, but let's hope for the best. Let's mix them again. Okay, so let's pick the second minor Arcana prompt. And this will be maybe this card. And this card is the Queen of Pentacles. Damn, we're going for like a really like royal flush over here, so that's nice. Any queen means reading a booktubers recommendation, which is always really exciting because I am always looking for booktuber recommendations. So I'm gonna pick one booktuber and I'm gonna read one of her recommendations or a book that this booktuber really loves, and I'll be reading that in March. I have recently heard about this book from Emma from Drinking by My Shelf. I absolutely adore her channel. She's so much fun. She's so sweet. And she talked in her books for Women's History Month, which is in March. And she talks about a book called 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. And it is about the lives of women during the Trojan War. So it is based on mythology, obviously not real history, but it is still very much interesting about the perspectives of the women that were in the Trojan War and about their role. And since I did love I loved a lot A Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller that was also set during the Trojan War with Achilles as a main character, I would really like to see the women's side of the war. And it just sounded really interesting when she spoke about it. It was like one of the last videos that she posted, and I just found out that there was an audiobook narrated by the author and script, and so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try because it sounds super interesting to me. So booktuber recommendation, 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. And for the last prompt and the last card, I'm just gonna be mixing them again. This is quite boring to watch probably, but okay, so let's pick the last card for this TBR. Okay, give me this one. And this card is the 8 of Swords. So any 8 means reading a recently purchased book. And for this prompt, I'm going to be reading Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Listen, this book was my most recently purchased book. Like, it arrived maybe 2 days ago. And I don't know, it is like, I love the way that I posted this on my Instagram, and JLo from All Loves Lit, she said like, it's a rite of passage to read this YA fantasy trilogy. And I was like, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. This is a rite of passage for me, and I have to do this. Do I have like the highest of expectations for this trilogy? No. I love Leigh Bardugo, but nothing can touch the Six of Crows duology. And a lot of people say that this is not nearly as good. So even though I'm excited for it, my hopes are not like the highest, but like everyone else, I want to get through this trilogy so I can watch the show and fully understand what's going on. So yeah, I'll be reading Shadow and Bone from the Grishaverse in March. So just to recap the books that I'll be reading this month for this TBR, for an underrated book, I'm gonna read Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. For The Hanged Woman, which is to read the lowest rated book on my Goodreads TBR, I'm gonna pick Milkman by Anna Burns. For The King of Wands, which is to read a book that intimidates me, I'm gonna read The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. For a booktuber's recommendation, I am going with 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes, recommended by Emma from Drinking by My Shelf. And finally, to read a recently purchased book, I'm gonna read Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Like I said, I am gonna have a separate video for my War Games Readathon TBR, so I think I already know the path and the archetype that I want to choose, but I'll let you know in that separate video, and I'm gonna read another 5 books, so we'll see how this month goes. I'm gonna leave the announcements videos for that readathon down below if you want to participate, and I really wish that all of you would participate with me because it seems like a lot of fun during the month of March. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope you have a nice day, and always remember that life is worth reading.